Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Triple Double Nation. Today I'll be covering who will be snubbed from this year's All-Star Game. Let's get into the video. The usual All-Star Game debates. Who's in, who's out, have a new component this year during the coronavirus pandemic, should the game happen at all. If you enjoy spirited discourse about NBA All-Star matters, this is your year. There is the ongoing debate about the wisdom of holding even a scaled-down version of the event in Atlanta amid the coronavirus pandemic, which continues to disrupt the regular season schedule. There's also the traditional wrangling over who should claim the 12 All-Star spots in each conference, as spirited and layered as ever in a season marked by game postponements, mostly empty arenas, and more parity than usual in the standings. Fan balloting ends Tuesday at midnight Eastern Time. All-Star starters will be revealed on Thursday night on TNT, with the reserves, as selected by the league coaches, to be announced next Tuesday. Here is our annual projection of the rosters featuring my unofficial reserve sections. Eastern Conference, likely starters. Front court, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. Backcourt, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving. Durant, Antetokounmpo, and Embiid have such a sizable lead in fan voting that we proclaim them starters. Beal was the leading vote getter among guards over Irving and James Harden, as of the last week's balloting update, which was pleasing to see. Beal missed out last season on All-Star and All-NBA honors, despite averaging 30.5 points per game. He's averaging 33.1 points per game this season, while facing even more attention from the defenses. A starting nod, if you can get past the Wizards' 8-17 record, would be a nice make-up call for a player who has pledged his loyalty to a franchise that is floundering in its attempts to build around him. Sure thing reserves: Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, James Harden. The Bucks packaged an array of trade assets to acquire Drew Holiday from New Orleans in hopes of persuading Antetokounmpo to sign a 5-year, $228 million contract extension. Antetokounmpo did sign in the end. On the 31st of 37 days, he was eligible to do so. But Holiday's arrival appears to have sparked Middleton just as much. Lest anyone suggest Holiday had supplanted him as Milwaukee's clear-cut second star, Middleton is shooting better than ever. Tatum and especially Brown have also ascended to new levels as two-way forces, and because of their promise, give the Celtics reason to avoid plunging into full-blown panic mode after a 5-10 skid dumped them into 4th in the East. The Heat have two undeniable All-Stars, but their 11-16 record has me fearing Jimmy Butler could get passed over by voting coaches on a technicality. Butler missed 12 of Miami's first 27 games. Adebayo, by complementing his defensive versatility with an improving jumper and a vastly improved free throw stroke, should ensure that last season's East champions have at least half the representation they should. And yes, Harden still counts as an All-Star automatic for me, disruptive as his behavior was during the season's first 6 weeks in an ultimately successful bid to coerce the Rockets to trade him. Wild cards: Gordon Hayward, Julius Randle. The Hornets were mocked for giving Hayward a 4-year, $120 million contract in free agency after his 3 injury-plagued seasons in Boston. Hayward has responded with some of the strongest across-the-board play in his career, alongside the exciting rookie LaMelo Ball, to establish the Hornets as an unexpected playoff contender. Perhaps I let romance sway me on both picks here, but it's true. I also went with the Knicks. The Knicks' competitiveness is an even bigger surprise than Charlotte or anything else we've seen in the East, and Randle, along with the first-year coach Tom Thibodeau, has been a cornerstone of that competence. Even before Randle's 44-point masterpiece Monday night in a victory over Atlanta, I couldn't resist being swept up in his 23.1 points, 11 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game, while shooting a career-best 40.6% from the three-point range. Those benchmarks have been sustained by only one player for an entire season, Larry Bird. The SNUBS. Levine, Vucevic, Young, and Sabonis were especially tough to omit. Like Randall, Levine was wondering what more he has to do when he is averaging 28.2 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game, and has Chicago in the playoff mix. Sports writers love to dramatize the agony involved in these unofficial choices, but I don't envy the coaches in either conference. Western Conference. Likely starters: frontcourt LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard. Backcourt: Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic. James has played in each of the Lakers' 28 games in an apparent bid to convince the most valuable player award voters who have bypassed him since 2012 and 13 that he is not coasting this season. Even after the shortest offseason in NBA history, a slimmed down Jokic is likewise a top MVP candidate, with his gleaming stat line of 26.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 8.7 assists per game. Leonard, who held a narrow lead over Anthony Davis entering the final week of balloting, has been a two-way menace as usual. Damian Lillard has a slightly stronger claim to the West's second backcourt slot than Doncic, giving the Trailblazers superior record even after losing CJ McCollum, another All-Star contender, to injury. Both though are locks to get an All-Star invitation no matter what. Wild cards. Mike Conley, Chris Paul. This basically comes down to should the Jazz have 3 All-Stars like the Nets, or do the Suns deserve 2 because of their surge to a top 4 seed in the competitive West. Conley, 33, has never made it to the All-Star game, and this might be his last good shot. Did I let that Hallmark storyline nudge me into a sappy call? Guilty. In my defense, it's also true that Conley is an advanced statistics darling whose role in Utah's success has been undeniably pivotal. And I do think the Jazz should have 3 All-Stars, in tribute to their standing as one of the few consistently dominant forces in a season marred by so much unpredictability and abnormality. Going this route, though, leaves only one spot for 2 worthy Suns, as well as New Orleans' Zion Williamson, Sacramento's De'Aaron Fox, and San Antonio's DeMar DeRozan. All 5 have a strong All-Star case. I went with Paul over Booker because he made such a cultural difference to Phoenix and is ever-efficient quarterbacking at age 35. The snubs. Frontcourt: Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, Christian Wood. Backcourt: De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, John Morant, Devin Booker. As the proud creator of an all-lefty team every August, it was painful to snub Williamson, who I've unfairly punished for his team's struggles. But I did it banking on him to get the All-Star call regardless as a natural replacement for Lakers Davis. Fox is another rising southpaw who hasn't received much shine from the many others for living up to a new mega contract. The same holds for DeRozan, who has quietly led the retooling Spurs to the top of the Southwest Division, and at 31 can't count on future All-Star invites the way the other 2 can. That's going to do it for our video today, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.